Venus opposing Mars in Synastry is one of the most classic and potent aspects for both attraction and conflict in a relationship. Venus, love, values, attraction, harmony, receptivity, how we receive, stands in direct opposition to Mars, desire, drive, aggression, action, assertiveness, how we pursue. This creates a dynamic where the expression of masculine and feminine energies within the relationship is highly polarized. Here's an original, deep analysis of Venus opposing Mars in Synastry. The dance of desire and disagreement, the core paradox. The fundamental paradox of Venus opposing Mars is that the very differences that create a powerful sexual and romantic attraction are also the sources of friction and potential conflict. It's the opposites attract cliché taken to its fiery, passionate, and sometimes exasperating extreme. Original insights into the core dynamic. The magnetic repulsion theory, it's not just opposites attract. It's more like a magnetic field where the poles are constantly trying to pull together and push apart simultaneously. The tension isn't static, it's a dynamic oscillation. One partner's Venusian desire for peace and union might trigger the other's Martian urge for challenge and conquest, and vice versa. This can feel like a constant push-pull where true equilibrium is fleeting. The unconscious role play. This aspect often triggers an unconscious gender role play, regardless of the actual genders involved. The Mars person may instinctively take on a more assertive, direct, or even masculine role in the relationship, while the Venus person may gravitate towards a more receptive, accommodating, or feminine role. When these roles clash, e.g., Mars wants action, Venus wants comfort, the opposition comes to the fore. The mirror of unmet needs, each person's planet in opposition can mirror an unmet or underdeveloped quality in the other. The Venus person might see in the Mars person the directness or courage they wish they had, while the Mars person might be drawn to the Venusian grace or capacity for connection they lack. The challenge lies in integrating these mirrored qualities rather than projecting them onto the partner. Behavioral manifestations and their nuances. 1. Intense sexual attraction and passion, the highs. Behavior. This is often the first and most undeniable manifestation. There's a raw, primal pull. Sex can be incredibly passionate, dynamic, and even a bit confrontational or playful. There's a constant spark in the air, even years into the relationship. Kissing, touching, and physical intimacy are often highlights. Nuance. While passionate, the nature of the passion might differ. The Venus person desires sensuality, connection, and pleasure. The Mars person desires conquest, release, and physical assertion. If these don't align in style or frequency, it can lead to frustration despite the underlying attraction. 2. Conflicting desires and approaches, the challenges. Behavior. Disagreements are almost inevitable. These often manifest as what to do clashes. Venus wants to relax, socialize harmoniously, Mars wants to conquer a goal, exercise, or engage in competition. How to do it clashes. Venus wants diplomacy, compromise, and finding common ground, Mars wants direct action, confrontation, and asserting their will. Spending habits clashes. Venus wants to spend on aesthetics, comfort, or social enjoyment, Mars might spend impulsively, on personal pursuits, or on tools/equipment. Aggression versus harmony. The Mars person might be perceived as too aggressive, direct, or argumentative by the Venus person. The Venus person might be seen as too passive, indecisive, or overly concerned with others' opinions by the Mars person. Nuance. The fights aren't always about deep-seated issues. They can be about trivial things that become battlegrounds for the underlying energetic opposition. The key is that the approach to conflict is fundamentally different. 3. Push-pull dynamics and power imbalances. Behavior. One partner might pursue, Mars, while the other withdraws or plays hard to get, Venus. Or, Mars pushes for action, and Venus resists for the sake of peace or comfort. There can be moments where one partner feels dominated or ignored by the other's opposing drive. Nuance. This isn't necessarily a negative power dynamic if both partners understand and respect it. It can be a playful dance. However, if one partner consistently overrides the other's needs, resentment builds. 4. Stimulation and growth, the potential. Behavior. Despite the friction, the relationship is rarely boring. The differences ensure constant stimulation. Mars person's behavior might challenge Venus to be more assertive, courageous, or to take risks. Venus person's behavior might encourage Mars to be more considerate, diplomatic, or appreciate beauty and comfort. Nuance. This growth is often hard-won. It requires both partners to be willing to stretch beyond their natural inclinations, which can be uncomfortable. The growth aspect can feel like a constant renegotiation. 5. The attraction to the fight, a unique perspective. Original insight. For some Venus-Mars oppositions, there's an almost subconscious attraction to the dynamic tension itself. The passionate arguments or the energetic friction can become part of the foreplay or the reason the relationship feels alive. It's a way to feel fully engaged and seen, even if it's through conflict. This is particularly true if either person has strong Mars-Pluto or Venus-Pluto aspects in their own chart. This isn't healthy for all, but for some, it's the very thing that keeps the spark. Navigating Venus opposing Mars, beyond just compromise. Simply compromising isn't enough. It's about understanding and channeling the energy. Acknowledge the fundamental polarity, don't try to make each other the same. Recognize that the difference in approach to desire, action, and affection is inherent and is what creates the initial spark. Channel the energy, not suppress it. Sexual outlet. Ensure a healthy and mutually satisfying sexual relationship. This is the most natural arena for the Venus-Mars opposition to play out constructively. Shared battles. Find external activities or projects where the Mars person can assert their drive and the Venus person can apply their aesthetic or relational skills, e.g., renovating a house, starting a business, a competitive hobby together. This allows their opposing energies to unite against a common opponent or toward a common goal. Define and respect territories. Agree on areas where each person's Venus or Mars energy takes the lead. For example, Venus decides on home decor, Mars decides on adventure plans. This minimizes friction by giving each person agency in their natural strengths. Embrace the dance. View the disagreements not as personal attacks but as a dynamic dance of different energies. Learn to spar constructively, where the tension invigorates rather than destroys. Develop empathy for the opposite drive. Venus person. Try to understand the Mars person's need for directness, action, and independence, even if it feels jarring. Mars person. Try to understand the Venus person's need for harmony, connection, and consideration, even if it feels slow or indirect. Humor and playfulness. A good sense of humor can diffuse many of the tensions. Teasing, playful arguments, and light-hearted competition can turn potential conflict into shared fun. Venus opposing Mars in Synastry is a powerful indicator of intense chemistry and dynamic interaction. It's a relationship that will constantly challenge both partners to understand and integrate differing desires and approaches. When handled with awareness, respect, and a willingness to engage with the tension, it can be a source of profound passion, exciting growth, and a deeply alive connection.